Hi everyone, it's Neil, and this is the third video about false friends for German speakers or German learners of English. So I'm going to talk about 5 more typical false friends between German and English. So the first one I want to talk about in this video is the German word der See or die sehen. So a lot of German speakers when they're speaking English will say the sea. So for example, I really like the seas around Berlin. This is not the correct word. The correct translation for the German word der See is actually lake. So if you talk about the water that you have around Berlin, for example, then you would talk about lakes and not seas. The word das Meer or die See, this will translate in English as sea. And that leads me on to the second typical false friend that I want to talk about in this video, and that is, well, there are actually 2 words. One being das Mittelmeer and the other die Ostsee. So a lot of people translate these as the Middle Sea and the East Sea. But if you said to me, what do you prefer? Where do you like to go on your holidays? The Middle Sea or the East Sea? I would have no idea what you're talking about. Because they actually translate as the Mediterranean Sea and the Baltic Sea. So the Mediterranean or the Mediterranean Sea and the Baltic Sea. A third false friend between German and English that I want to talk about in this video is a very typical one that you often hear German speakers use, and that is the word bekommen. In English, it is not become. So again, it's not correct to say I got or I became a very important email today, or every day I become 5 or 10 emails, because become in English means start to be. But the word bekommen translates as get or receive. So you would say, today I got an important email, or every day I get between 5 and 10 emails, or I receive between 5 and 10 emails. Receive is probably a little bit more formal. The fourth false friend that I want to talk about in this video is the German word die Direktion, which does not translate in English as the direction. The correct translation would be the board or the management. I mean, the word direction in English means, talks about where you're going. So directions, for example, would be go straight ahead, turn right, turn left. They are directions. And the last false friend that I want to talk about today is the German word Caution, which is not caution in English. So caution is an English word, but it means careful. So if you see a sign, for example, caution when driving, that would mean be careful when driving. The word Caution actually translates as deposit or bill, and sometimes it can be guarantee. So deposit or bill, guarantee. So they are the last of the false friends that I want to talk about in these videos. I hope they are helpful for you. And just remember, if you want more tips, you can look at my Facebook business page, which is Neil Collins Business English Training, or you can just subscribe to the channel, which you will find by just writing in Neil Collins in YouTube, and you'll find the channel there. And you'll get a lot of tips, and they're updated on a weekly basis. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you soon.